So I feel like to express myself, I feel like this is what God is doing with me. But I don't think it's just for me. I think it's just to bring language to something. Confidence. You ever feel like you ask God for confidence in something and you don't get it? Right? Like, give me boldness, give me confidence to share my faith, that sort of thing. You get into church and you feel like there's this pressure to go and make disciples of all the nations, but you don't feel equipped. But God calls he doesn't equip the called, he calls the equipped. Nah, whatever. You know what it is. You've heard it like many times. But this is what I feel like God is doing with me. This confidence that is coming from by faith. You see, he's speaking to me. And it's not just his words, it's the way in which he addresses me. That is then judging the way that I have seen myself before. It's like he's calling me out by faith. He's like, I see who you are, that you don't quite see. Trust me. But in this exchange, in this relational place where the perspective of God is being put upon me, it seems to, in that place, judge, put to death versions of me that I could never find confidence in. And I couldn't find confidence in those versions of me because it wasn't authentically me. Because the most authentic version of me is one who knows how the Father sees me. The most authentic version of me, the most authentic version of you, and this is where you will find your confidence, is in the knowing of the perspective that the Father has of you. And I believe this must be received. And this must be a place where room is made. And there seems to be, this is where a resurrection of a new perspective comes in, a new wineskin, the passing away of the former things, right? This lack mentality, this scarcity mindset, this impoverished way of thinking. You're not going to find confidence in that because that is not you. These things that we have learned in the dark, we have believed, we have been deceived to believe that it is us. And from that place, from this crooked foundation, we're asking God for confidence. We're asking him to build upon which we have built. But he's like, I will give you confidence that's unshakable. I will give you something that no man can tear down. But it will be in you coming to know yourself through me. Coming to know how I've always seen you. You will receive this confidence. It seems to be very specific for me because I'm watching, I've been witnessing the versions of me pass away. Right? And I was like, how come I never had confidence here? How come I always felt insecure here? Right? I never could do this there. And people pray, they pray for confidence to be able to do this. He's like, there's a timing for everything. You're asking for confidence, but in a version of you that you see, a clouded version. And a clouded version of you to me is the equivalent of a crooked foundation. And he will not build upon a crooked foundation, it seems, because that will be unstable. But instead, he will tear down, he will dismantle the crooked foundation. He will expose it as being crooked and say, you don't see yourself correctly. When you see what I have always seen in you, this is where you will be confident. This is where you will be confident. It's a confidence that seems to far outweigh self-confidence. It's a confidence by faith. You see, I'm looking over at my life and I'm saying, I'm not building this. I'm not steering this. I have surrendered. I'm not in a practice of surrender. Things have passed away. Things have passed away, but there's also something emerging. There's also a confidence that I cannot describe. And I believe that I'm receiving it and this is where surrender and humility and this place that he brings you to, right? Where you can't move on. Because in order for you to move on, you have to see something different. You have to see something new. We cannot move on from the way in which we have viewed ourselves and viewed the world. We need to be taken from one understanding to a new understanding. That will be by God. That will be by his grace. That will be by his timing. And so if you don't have confidence, it could very well mean that this is a demolition season for you. Because I don't think that he's going to give you top heavy confidence, meaning this air of confidence, this seemingly good confidence in this version of you that's not you. Instead, he will judge what you have believed about yourself, tell you to surrender that to him. And in this place, he will build the man. And in this place, he will build the woman. And in this place, he will produce the faith. I feel like we have all been given a measure of faith, right? And in this way, we give it back to him. And the faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. And I think that we all have been given, allocated the size of a mustard seed amount of faith. So whatever measure you have is the right measure, right? But in your hands, you can't produce any more faith than the seed that you have. But in his hands, he can do very much with it. And so it is kind of this handing it back to him, and his faithfulness is what grows it and nurtures it. He stands by his word, right? It will not return void. He stands by his word to ensure that it will accomplish that of which he is sent. There is confidence in himself concerning his faithfulness with you. And you are brought into that. And then you say, who could have confidence concerning me? He must know me more than I know myself. So you surrender what you think you know about you. You surrender what you think you know about God. Because from that place, your belief system about you, about God, about everything was always kind of shadowy, which had this crooked foundation. And you're like, well, I feel confident here, but I don't feel confident there. I feel confident here, I don't feel confident there. Increase my confidence. And I feel like it's just like, all I have to do is show you who you've always been to me. And you will have confidence in the one that I see in you. The one that I've always seen. You'll be like, that's not me. I'm dying to versions of me that were never me. And then the version that is remaining is where confidence is. The version that is remaining is the version that he's always seen, the substance of things hoped for. I'm one day hoping to see, and I believe that I will, the final version. The one that doesn't have all the shadows. The one that is not confused about himself, because now there has been a death to all the places that are confusing. I'm not so in doubt and fear because the doubt and fear has been sifted, right? These things have been burned up in the refiner's fire, and now I'm able to see clearly. And in seeing clearly, I see him. And in seeing him, I see in me what he sees. And then he has confidence in me, about me, and for me. That depends upon his faithfulness, depends upon his spirit, it depends upon his strength. And I think in this place you will grow in confidence. But you will grow in confidence in the most authentic version of you. And the versions of you that you thought you were before and what people have said about you, that has to be burned up in the fire. And I believe that there will be a natural dying process to what is coming alive. Because this way in which he is relating to you and to me will judge the way you've been perceived before. It has been quite painful to be like, wow, I've been so impoverished. I've felt so insecure of myself, and no wonder I have believed that I'm so insignificant. Where did this come from? I'm thinking it's something that I need to fix. I'm thinking it's something I need to hide from. I'm thinking that it's something that I need to find confidence in. But no, it seems to be, let those things go, let those things pass away, right? And in the versions of me that were never me, passing away is increasing confidence in the version of me that he's always seen, right? The one that I'm becoming singular, meaning I'm not double-minded anymore. I'm not going to be swayed back and forth. There was a time that was happening. He found me in the waves of that uncertainty, but he has taken me out of that place. And he's like, I know who you are. by faith receive that I know who you are.